Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I want to talk some more about narcissistic abuse. Because again, I've been watching some of these YouTube videos and it's scary, some of the advice that they're giving about narcissism. So in my last video, I titled it, Be Careful about the advice you take about narcissism on YouTube platforms or any social media platform. I talk about how some of this advice that they're giving and telling you how to drive the narcissist crazy is actually dangerous, okay? If you do not know, okay, and you're probably not going to, because even some psychologists, licensed clinical therapists, and psychiatrists get it wrong. So if they get it wrong and they need sessions, a lot of sessions talking with a person and really digging in to them mentally in order to come up with a proper diagnosis, how are you, who are not saying that you can't educate yourself, because we certainly can, how are you going to know what type of narcissist that you're dealing with? And this is what I try to get people to understand about narcissism. If you don't know what type of narcissist you're dealing with, it is dangerous to try to do things to drive the narcissist crazy and, oh, this will really get them. And I'm thinking to myself, this person has to be a narcissist that is giving this information. Excuse me. I have to drink my morning coffee. But as I'm looking at this, I said this person would have to be a narcissist if they're giving misinformation like that. The best thing to do is not to engage with a narcissist, okay? And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. That is the best advice. And even with that, I tell people, don't even take that advice unless you know what type of narcissist you're dealing with, okay? Because they have this gifted way of, when they see that their target is pulling away from them, giving them answers that don't open up dialogue, but it closes the dialogue, right? And they're trying to find ways to, quote unquote, get in, okay? Because for them it's a psychological game, okay? If you're dealing with that type of narcissist, you're in trouble if you keep doing that, okay? So you have to find a way. And a lot of times, when I was in situations like that, I've literally had to resign from jobs because I saw that the supervisor or whoever was such a narcissist that it would have been impossible for me to continue to do my job there and know that, one day, they're going to do things to try to, quote unquote, punish me, okay? And when you're working in the healthcare field, you have to be careful of that, because they'll set you up to hurt a patient and everybody be looking at you crazy, okay? So this is what I'm talking about, okay? And like I said, when you go to human resources and you do all of those things, all they're going to do is just gaslight you, okay? Everybody knows how to put on a face when they know other people are watching. So in certain situations like that, where they know human resources is now made aware, they're going to play the game even better to make it look like you're the problem, okay? So this is what I keep trying to tell people about narcissists. So a lot of times in the workplace, depending on how much longevity you have, this is why some people try to find ways and tactics to beat the narcissist at their own game. Because if you have longevity on a job, then it's not beneficial to just resign, okay? But I haven't been on that job that long, and that's the first thing I start to look at. I start to look at the environment, okay? And now, um, because I had to resign from that job because of that fact, because um, I believe, but I didn't have proof at the time that um, these people were doing things to my patient samples, and I went to human resources, and the human resources is telling me I need to collect proof. I'm like, that's not my job. So when I realized that human resources wasn't going to help me out like they should have done, I went ahead and just resigned, because I said, I know how this is going to end up. Okay, they're going to set me up, and then, for what I do, I need certification, and in some states, I need licensure to do what I do in the healthcare field. And a lot of times, people will set you up in order to jeopardize that, okay, when you're dealing with the wrong type of narcissist. So when I see all these videos about how to handle a narcissist and how to drive them crazy, and I'm thinking to myself, yo, this is, oh damn, I was warming up my coffee and it bubbled over. Oh, okay. All right, let me do this and then I'll finish what I'm saying. So a lot of times, like I was saying, in certain circumstances, I understand why people need to know how to deal with narcissists, how to deal with their flying monkeys. But what I'm suggesting for people, okay, is that you get in contact with a clinical psychologist, licensed clinical therapist, and sometimes a psychiatrist, in order to tell you for your specific situation, okay, how to deal with it, okay? Because like I said, all narcissists cannot be in the same, are not in the same category, okay? Some people display narcissistic characteristics. They're not narcissists, okay? So if you do certain things to, I guess, put them in a place, it may work, or quote unquote drive them crazy, because they're not actually a narcissist. They're displaying narcissistic characteristics. And a lot of times those people themselves are have been abused by narcissists, So why would you want to handle that type of person the way you would somebody who is purposely and intentionally doing fuck shit? You don't. You never do, okay? So this is the problem I have when I'm watching this stuff. I'm like, what the hell is going on, But then at the end of the day, because I always put a disclaimer, and I put it in on my YouTube channel, this is just my opinion. The reason why I'm saying that, although a lot of times I'm telling you facts, is for you to look it up, okay? Because we have too much of this when somebody is saying something, because they may have MD, PhD, or something behind their name, you think what they're saying is fact, okay? And it may not necessarily be. Some things are just educated opinions, okay? So you have to be careful in these situations, because if you're dealing with a narcissist who's on the spectrum of goddamn a fucking psychopath, you in goddamn trouble. You're in trouble, and you're not gonna know until you're deep in trying to teach them a lesson. Oh, make them crazy, and they're thinking in their mind, oh, game on, game on. They're a narcissist that's on that spectrum. No, that's who they are. There's no guessing that they don't know. They've known for a long time they were different from other people. Why? Because they do not have empathy or compassion for people like regular people do. Okay? And that's just what it is. Okay? That's just what it is. Okay? And they'll do things, they play the game. You know, this is why I tell people, read books like The Art of War, The 48 Laws of Power, and think to yourself, how can somebody use these tactics in the workplace or outside the workplace in order to mess with you, to start narcissistic abuse? Okay, this is what you have to start looking for. Okay, and like I tell people, the best thing to do is disengage. You know, sometimes it helps to let the narcissist know, oh, my bad. I didn't know you were a psychopath. Okay, like, excuse me, like, I don't say it like that, but I try to be respectful, overly respectful, to let them know, now I recognize that you are some type of psychopath or sociopath, okay? And I didn't mean no offense. Okay? I meant no offense. I didn't know you was over here on this spectrum, okay? I thought you was a regular person, okay? In order to back out of it, right? To just like slowly but surely just, oh, sorry, excuse me, and back out of it, okay? Because like I said, I've been in situations on the job where I'm on this job and I watched this other girl narcissistically abuse another female. Now this female starts to strongly respond, okay? And the narcissistic female, the one who caused it, is acting like, playing like she's the victim, okay? And at one point, I'm looking, because everybody's attention, of course, is going to be on the one who's strongly responding, right? So something just tells me to look at the other female that was in what was going on. And as I took my eyes and I looked at her sitting there in the corner, she was sitting there smiling and smirking. And it was at that moment that I heard something within me say, she's the problem. I don't care what it looked like from this other female. This one is the problem. She was too cool, calm, and collected. And she was just sitting there smirking. And when she saw me see her, okay, and I tried to hurry up and look away because I didn't want that type of beef. Okay? Like I said, it's not about being a punk. It's not about any of those things, okay? It's about, you can cause the narcissist to take it to the level of murder. You can cause a narcissist to take it to the level of sabotaging you on your job, to the point that you get fired, lose your licensure, certification, or whatever it is. This is the level that they will take it to in order to hurt you. Okay? And if you feel like you got protection like that, then hey, have at whatever it is you want to do. Okay? But most people just want to come to work, do their job, and go home. You know what I'm saying? But when I saw that from her, I knew immediately. When she saw me look at her as this other female is going off, and I'm just looking at her with my eyes wide open, because now I have the actualization that she is the problem. She's the one that's the problem. Do you not know for the rest of that week, she was nice and cordial with me, but that next week, I became that narcissist target. And this is what they do, okay? Because now, I can possibly start shedding light to other people how she is, and pointing out to them, little things about her that's to warn them, like, something is wrong with homegirl. Okay? So this is the stuff that I be trying to tell people, that it can get that dangerous. Okay? But, I understand everybody think they big and bad. You think you big and bad until you meet somebody who's bigger and badder than you. You know what I'm saying? So I just get into the mindset, I'm not trying to acquire those type of fucking problems. Okay? I'm not trying to acquire those type of fucking problems. Not to the point where you feel like somebody is doing things like sabotaging your patient samples, okay, in order to set you up. Sabotaging your analyzers in order to set you up, okay? And it's little things, well, those are not little things, but it's things like that that'll make you be like, yo, that's crazy. You're willing to throw an innocent patient under the motherfucking bus? They don't have nothing to do with that shit. But in a narcissist's mind, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck because there is no moral compass there, okay? There's no compassion. There's no ethics. If you do something to offend them, that's just it. They're coming for you. And that's just what it is, okay? So when you get that in your head, this is why you see some people, they just keep their head down. They come into work, they do their job, and they go to fuck home. And they don't get into the office gossip. They don't get into any of that, okay? And I remember somebody told me this years ago before I started this particular job. They just told me, they was like, do not gossip with this person. Everything you say to this person, they're going back and telling this person and that person. Stop talking to them. Be quiet. Okay? They're coming to you to carry back a message. They come to you to get you talking. They don't go back to the person and say, hey, this is what I said to her to get her talking. And even then, sometimes it's a setup. Okay? They'll say certain things about somebody to get you talking about them because this other person may want to know what you truly think and feel about them. And then once they know, then they all start their abuse. And in those situations, it's not narcissistic abuse. In some situations, it's just quote unquote mean girls, where a group of catty ass women don't realize they're not in high school anymore and they're in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and it's disgusting, okay, to watch old bitches act like this. It's like you didn't have an epiphany in life at some point, bitch. Like, what's wrong with you? And not all older women do this, okay? Usually it's younger women. It's just a shocker to see old bitches do this. At the age of 45, I have literally, certain things that I did in my 20s have purged out of my goddamn system. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with these women, okay? So a lot of times that's what it is. But then again, anytime if you're thinking this might be a narcissist, you need professional help to help you navigate that. And that's just on facts, okay? If you're not a clinical psychologist, psychiatrist, licensed therapist, you actually don't know. You're making a guess based upon what? YouTube videos, social media, platform videos? You need more than that, yo. You need more than that, okay? And again, a lot of stuff that I've learned from experience. I mean, one time it was getting so bad in my life that I was thinking to myself, why are narcissists attracted to me? It's like I'm a magnet for these people. And it becomes very frustrating, okay? It becomes very frustrating. And what you have to start realizing, especially if you're an empath or highly sensitive person, okay, you will find that you are a magnet for narcissists. Why? Because you deeply feel, Okay? They can send a strong intention to you, and you can strongly feel it. So they don't have to do much to affect your life, right? They can send strong intentions, do witchcraft and all kind of stuff, get other people in the circle to help them with that witchcraft spell and send that goddamn strong intention to you to try to cause havoc in your life. The other thing they try to do, which is still witchcraft, is constantly speak negative things in your life if you're an empath and highly sensitive person. They'll continually try to speak negativity in your life, and until you awaken to what is going on and learn how to protect yourself, this is what'll continue to happen. This is what I was talking about in my witchcraft video, and I'm gonna do a part 2 to that. There's a video I have which got the most views, surprisingly, about witchcraft, gang stalking, and the like. Okay, is that when these witches are doing this type of witchcraft on you, and they see that, let me just use myself for an example. These particular bottom-feeding fucking witches, because not all witches who practice witchcraft do this type of fuck shit. Okay, let me just put that out there. But these particular type of fuck shit, bottom-feeding, low-vibratory bitches were sending negative shit to me. So when I started to realize this and I started protecting myself and sending it right back to these bitches, now they get mad. Why you mad? This is what you put out and I'm giving it right back to you. What the fuck are you mad about, right? So when they see that nothing they're sending to me is interrupting my fucking life, what do you think these bottom-feeding, low-vibratory, okay, ain't shit bitches start doing that practice witchcraft? What do you think they start doing? They start physically trying to affect me. So they try to incorporate people in your life in order to try to negatively affect you. Okay? So when I started figuring that fuck shit out, I limited my goddamn circle. Right? So they try to find ways, and this is where the stalking, the gang stalking comes in. Because they gotta find a way. And this is how narcissists think. This is how they think. When somebody is stalking you for the simple fact of trying to, quote unquote, teach you a lesson, that's a fucking problem. Who the fuck are you to teach me a lesson? Who are you? And God, my God had to speak to me. They're telling you who the fuck they are in relation to you. Okay? Which means they're saying, I'm God over you. I have the right to teach you a fucking lesson. You don't have no right to teach me no fucking lesson. What you have a right to do is move on with your fucking life. And this is what narcissists type people will do. It's not good for you to say, oh, this is why I tell you in that other series I have about, you can say karma is real if you want to. But the same people who is trying to teach you that karma is real, if you do something to offend them or injure them in any way, publicly, privately, whatever it is, okay, in relationships, you'll find that they're not going to let karma get you. They're not going to let spirit get you. They are quite literally going to get you themselves. And these are the same people that teach you, oh, don't worry, karma will get them. But if you do something to that same fucking person that says karma will get them, you'll find they don't believe in that shit. You'll find they are going to quite literally try to get you. But they want you to be under the illusion that it's some type of karma, spirit, that is coming to get you. When I had taught in that last series of karma, a lot of times people are living up under grace and mercy, When you have people living up under grace and mercy, the law of karma is canceled. Okay, you better study this. Okay, you better go study this. This is why Aleister, I think his name is Aleister Crowley, who they call like the father of witchcraft. Go research the book he wrote talking about there is no other law above this one law. Do what thou wilt. Do what you want. What is that saying? What is that saying? That's saying if you rise to the consciousness of the fuck shit you want to do, no matter what it is, good or bad, you can not only do it, but get the fuck away with it. And all you have to do is research this fuck shit that go on in Hollywood to know that that is a goddamn fact. And the only time these people get thrown under the bus is when the powers to be are trying to throw them under the bus, when they act out of control. This is why they make you do certain rituals in Hollywood, okay, that are that involved pedophilia and other types of depravity. It's not just about initiation. It is about, they have to have something on you. Because with comes money, comes power. When you have influence as a celebrity, that's power. So how do I allow this person to have money and influence over the public, but still keep control of them? That's what it is. And that's narcissism, like, at its finest, okay? If you study and research what they claim is going on down there in Hollywood. And this is what I keep trying to tell people. If you're dealing with a person who has no empathy or compassion, and in their mind, if you do something to them, you know, all hands on deck. Somebody who doesn't have empathy or compassion has no human decency, which means they will do anything to you or your children. This is the danger of trying to handle the narcissist on your own. This is why I tell people don't follow some of this stuff that you hear on social media. If you're dealing with the wrong type of narcissist, because there are categories, you're going to end up in trouble. Like, why would you? That's like literally taunting a serial killer. That's literally what you're doing. If you're fucking with the wrong narcissist, you're literally taunting a serial killer. And this is the way you have to look at it in order for your mind to go in survival mode, to not only protect yourself physically, but mentally and spiritually. Okay? This is what you have to do to protect yourself. And this is what I was trying to tell people about the witchcraft video. When those people realized they could no longer trigger me, then they tried to find ways to get into my life to try to trigger me. They love that strong response. Anytime somebody is trying to always trigger a response from you, just know they have a way to monitor you in the privacy of your home and vehicle, whether you realize they're doing this or not. What's the point of triggering you if you're gonna go home and if you can hold your composure around them, but then when you go home, you let it out because you don't want them to see that they're getting to you? What do you think they'll start doing to make sure that what they're doing is working? Honey, somebody has violated in the worst way, because somebody watching you when you don't know it in your home, in the privacy of your vehicle, those are private places. And this is the problem with the narcissist. They have no fucking boundaries. They have no fucking boundaries. They want to know intimate details that's none of their fucking business. And I say that with great passion and feeling because I've gone through that type of abuse. They want to keep fucking with you psychologically, so when you're trying to explain the story to other people, people are trying to figure like, okay, wait, hold on, calm down. Wait a minute, calm down. Now explain? That's how jumbled up they want you to be when you try to explain it to other people. And anytime you see somebody like that, know that they're up under mental attack. Somebody is fucking with them consistently on the mental level, consistently to fuck with them. If you go research what happened in Black American ghettos, you'll understand what psychological, that constant mental barrage of just fucking with a person will do. Go research the Black ghettos in America. Go research that. Like, I'm not making this shit up. Because when you start researching this stuff, you'll start to understand. You'll start to realize, and you'll start to be able to pick up on when you're in the workplace and racist white people are trying to subjugate you by psychologically attacking you. And they will go as far as to watch you in your home and in your vehicle. Well, how does somebody get in your home? And I remember I asked God, I was sitting down and I was like, okay, God, this is crazy. Because when I would come into my house, I would notice that stuff would just be out of place. And I'm thinking to myself, why is this thing out of place? I'm living here by myself. I don't understand. So the first couple of times it happened, I thought to myself, nah, I must have somehow put this here. But then my intuition starts kicking in, and you'll notice when your intuition starts kicking in, pay attention. My intuition was like, no, you did not leave it there. You left it here. So I checked the windows. I went upstairs to the attic. I checked the windows. I went downstairs to the basement. I'm looking in every corner and crevice, and I'm like, there's no way they could have gotten in here unless they broke a window, and there's no broken windows, or they got through the door. And the door doesn't look like, you can look at a door and tell if somebody was trying to take something and, like, you know, slide that lock to the side. And I was like, I don't see any of that. So I said to God, I said, how did they get in? So let me let you know, 1 or 2 weeks later, I got locked out. Like, I locked that bottom lock, and I ran out my house because I had to go to work. And then when I come back home, I realize I can't get in. So of course I don't want to break any of the windows, because I'm like, that's going to cost more to fix than me just calling a locksmith. So I called the locksmith. Now remember, I'm not thinking about this incident that happened a few weeks earlier. I'm not even thinking about this. I'm just going throughout thinking to myself, damn, I locked myself out. So I called a locksmith. Do you not know the locksmith had a master key to that lock? He looked at the lock and he said, I think this is this particular brand of locks. So let me see, these keys may work. And one of the keys worked. There are master keys to the locks that they sell you in Lowe's and Home Depot, okay, and all these other places. So he was just able to open my door. And he was like, if you want, I can key every lock to be for this one key. And I was like, no, I think I want you to change all the damn locks. It's what I think I want to happen. And as he was doing that, then I heard a small, still voice say, that's how they got in. And I said, holy shit. If you ask the right questions, your subconscious mind, God, your higher self, whatever you want to call it, will begin to reveal the answers to you. Okay? It's quite astonishing when it's happening. Okay? So when I saw it, I was like, oh shit. And this is how I realized and was able to begin to defend myself. And like I said, when you're dealing with witches and all that type of stuff, they're brutal with it, but they're not as brutal. You'll find that people who practice white supremacy is fucking brutal when it comes to doing this to people. And they will stalk you, harass you. All of a sudden, everything you talked about in your home, somebody is coincidentally mentioning to you in casual conversation. And what is this to do? To subjugate. It's to let you know, no matter where you go, no matter where you try to hide, we have access. Okay? That's called subjugation. Right? So when you're dealing with that type of fucking monster, trust and believe when I tell you, you have to be prayed up. You gotta know. You gotta know. You gotta know how to protect yourself mentally and spiritually, because they will not let up. And quite recently, if you don't know, I don't know if I mentioned it in past videos, but I am a survivor of rape. Okay, I'm a survivor of sexual assault that happened to me in the military. Okay, so when somebody is violating your privacy like this, especially if you are a sexual assault survivor, okay, that is going to trigger you. Why? Because your mind knows you're being violated. You may not be violated in that specific particular way, but it still registers the same to the mind, okay? Especially to my mind, okay? So in my mind, I'm constantly being triggered, and I don't know why I'm having these strong reactions. And God had to really dig down deep and show me it's because of this trauma right here. And I had to deal with that trauma. Then I had to start dealing with other trauma that happened before that incident. And God says it's going to keep happening. You're going to keep having these strong reactions. And this is what causes these narcissistic abusers to do it more, want to do it more, because you have such a strong reaction. The energy that you're generating from it, they are sucking it in. Because with an energy vampire, let me tell you, it doesn't have to be good energy. Negative energy is just as strong, and they know how to channel that energy and suck it in and transmute it to use it for what the fuck they want to use it for. Okay? These are people who are advanced practitioners in that type of, in certain occult type esoteric beliefs, right? So when God started to show me this is what they're doing, because that response from your rape trauma syndrome is so strong, because you know you're being violated, but you're trying to find how. Like my subconscious mind is telling me something is wrong. And do you think these people had human decency? They know the people who were doing it and sending their flying monkeys knew that's why I was reacting that way, but they didn't care. It wasn't till I came forward and started telling people, I'm sorry I had that strong response, but when you did X, Y, and Z, it reminded me of my sexual assault. And I remember the person like stood back and looked at me like, I didn't know you went through that. You see, the narcissist is not going to tell the flying monkeys or any pawn that they use that that's what you're going through. Because they're going to try to point you as the narcissist. Look how she's strongly reacting. Why is she strongly reacting like that? Because you're violating me and you're not telling the whole goddamn story. That's why I'm reacting like that. So now, when I come forward and begin to verbally say, hey, look, I'm a sexual assault survivor, that type of fuck shit, if you try to do it to me, it's going to cause me to be in a very defensive mode. And then I'm not going to know how to turn that off when I'm around you. Okay? So please don't do or say certain things to me. Okay? Whatever it was that they did or said, right? Now that I'm more verbal about it, now guess what the narcissist is doing now? This is why I'm saying you have to know what type of narcissist you're dealing with, because they don't fucking stop. So guess now what they're doing? They're gaslighting me for having this form of PTSD. They're gaslighting. Why? Because their pawns and their flying monkeys are having a moral dilemma. So now they got to gaslight me about that. Now they want to talk about their demons. The demons that are bothering me are not spirits. It's actual people that are mentally harassing me. And now that I'm being more verbal about what happened to me in the past, not only did I suffer that sexual assault in the military, I was in a relationship with a guy who was physically abusing me. Okay? He never apologized for it. This was in the church. His family kicked me out of the church, mistreated me, talked about me. And even if what they said about me was true, as my pastor and my first lady, I had an expectation of privacy when I was speaking to them, and they had no right to make what I told them privately public. They had no right. And somebody told me I should sue them because you can sue, that some churches have to keep certain types of insurance, and one of the things under the insurance is to cover them if somebody claims that they did that, or slander. You have a reasonable expectation of privacy. But I knew that was a setup, and I told them, I said, no, you sue them first. After you do it and are successful, then you show me the paperwork, and then I'll follow suit. I don't let nobody set me up to be the pawn to get at some other fucking narcissist. I say, you do it first. And then when you do it, show me the paperwork so that I can follow suit. But what you're not about to do is set me up for some fucking bullshit. Okay? So God had to take me through that to get healing. And then he had to take me even further back to childhood sexual abuse. And God had to reveal to me one of my parents was a narcissist. And as an adult, I started to realize more and more, this person is a fucking narcissist. I would never tell that to their face, but then I started to realize this more and more. And God said, now you see what is happening? You are recreating, quite literally, everything that you went through as a child. Quite literally. Because you're not healed from it, it is literally circling around in your head like a program. Now I'm teaching you to break that program. This is why I tell people daily affirmations are important. And you have to take those daily affirmations to another fucking level. Those daily positive affirmations, whether it's a scripture or whatever it is, you got to get those 108 beads and chant it to yourself 108 times. You got to take Psalm 23 and Psalm 91 and get 108 beads. And although, especially Psalm 91 is very long, you have to be disciplined and sit there and chant that to yourself 108 times. And then personalize it so that it sounds like God is specifically talking to you. This is what God had to train me to train my mind to do in order to recover from this type of narcissistic abuse. This is why it's like I speak with urgency, because I know what I went through. And I know, depending on the type of narcissist, they're the Energizer fucking bunny. They're not going to stop. They're going to try to find another way until they become completely and utterly exposed, where they can't go right and they can't go left. They have to just stop. They can't go forward. They can't go backward. They can't go up. They can't go down. They have to fucking stop their fuck shit. Because now everybody's looking at them like, hold up. If she was a sexual assault victim, why did you have us doing that to her? Yeah, now they're flying monkeys and pawns, and everybody that they use in whatever organization that they were a part of are having a moral dilemma. They're having a moral dilemma when they knew this information about me before they started their smear campaign. And this is the type of stuff that they'll do. And like I said, previously, you have to know what type of narcissist you're dealing with. This type of narcissist is not actually bad when they're not using their narcissistic tactics in this way. Okay? It's actually not bad. This is the type of person you want working in the motherfucking CIA, going infiltrating other countries, okay? Infiltrating the enemy and getting information, because they are relentless and ruthless. You need those type of people. You need those type of people when you're trying to investigate other serial killers. You need somebody who is ruthless and relentless. But doing it to a person that is quite, like, literally not even necessary to even take it to that fucking level. But a lot of times they will take it to that level when they know that there's a risk of exposure and they don't want people to believe you. And this is some of the stuff that I had to go through, okay? Where now I'm being gaslighted for having PTSD because I have rape trauma syndrome. And a lot of times psychiatrists will label stuff like PTSD, psychologists will label stuff PTSD to give people privacy. So on official paperwork, that's all they'll see. And it'll say personal trauma or personal, they won't get into the details to give that person privacy, okay? Because people of sexual assault do not like to be seen as victims. They like to be seen and heard as survivors. I survived that. I'm not anybody's victim anymore. And even in that, they will try to gaslight. Make you feel like because you have that problem, you have some demonic spirit pressing against you. No, I don't have any demonic spirit pressing against me. I'm working through my issues. What I have is a narcissist who likes to send flying monkeys and people who have questionable human decency to harass me. If you left me the fuck alone, you would see I would be healed and fine. But you're constantly trying to do things to bring it up. Why? Because they're getting that strong energy response. Narcissists who have esoteric knowledge about witchcraft, about how to harness energy, how to steal energy from people, that's fucking dangerous. And this is what they'll do. They'll siphon your energy, and now you're left with the negative energy to try to figure out. So if you don't have the positive, the good to balance it out, it can drive that person over the edge, right? Because you're siphoning everything, right? So now this is what they call separating the harvest. People who like to steal energy like to separate the harvest. Or some people will call it stealing your good karma and then leaving you with the bad, and even giving you their negative karma for you to work out for them. Okay? And if you're an empath, you understand what the fuck I'm talking about. Okay? If you don't know, then, that's a whole nother video. This is what they'll do. They'll separate the harvest, the wheat from the good, meaning the good blessings that you're supposed to get from God. They are trying to quite literally stand in the way of getting it. Right? Like Esau and Jacob. This is happening on the spiritual level, where they're trying to come to your subconscious mind, acting like they're you. This is why I tell people, when you are trying to manifest something, pay attention to the people or the person who keeps popping up. When you're trying to manifest something for yourself, people say you should see people congratulating you or whatever, but you have to be careful with that. If you don't know how to do it, in the beginning, you should only see yourself. You should only see yourself receiving certain things. Okay? When you're speaking your affirmations, you should only see yourself or the words that you're saying. Pay attention to the people who keep popping up every time you're trying to manifest good for yourself, because that's going to tell you a lot of times who the thieves and robbers are. And some people do it knowingly, and some people do it unknowingly. Okay? Unknowingly, you have to read the story of the woman with the issue of blood when she touched Jesus, and she was quite literally an energy vampire because everybody's touching them, but he felt his virtue leave him. The man felt his virtue leave him when that woman touched him, because she was so desperate for healing that she was quite literally stealing his energy. And he had to tell her, ma'am, hold up. Your faith has made you whole. You have the power to heal yourself the whole time. I didn't heal you. Your belief that touching the hem of my garment is what actually healed you. Okay? So like I said, you have to research this stuff. And again, I cannot reiterate again, do not use some of the advice that they're telling you to use on YouTube or any social media platform on how to handle a narcissist unless you are a clinical psychologist, a licensed clinical therapist, or a psychiatrist. Don't do it. Do not do it, because you don't know what type of narcissist you're dealing with. And if you want to understand narcissism, just go research the Black African American ghettos in America. That's narcissistic abuse. That's a superiority complex that somebody has and think that they're better than somebody else and that they're God over them. And they can quite literally do what they want to them. Go research slavery. Go research that shit. They always talk about, oh, blacks weren't the first slave. Like, shut the fuck up. They might not have been the first slaves, but they damn sure the first in history that was treated to that type of treatment. And even after it, Like, go research that. That's what you call, that's narcissistic abuse. And when you're up under these people who like to call themselves white supremacy, and I don't have a problem with anybody calling themselves supreme. You can call yourself white supremacy all you motherfucking want. You want to follow that stupid ass motherfucking ideology. I don't give a shit. Where I have a problem is when your belief and high value of your motherfucking self infringes on my rights as a human being. That's when we have a fucking problem. I don't give a fuck how supreme you think you are. You are. Carry on. You're free to think it. But when it infringes upon my rights and my right to freedom to pursue and to obtain happiness and financial success and prosperity and generational wealth, and you want to infringe your fucking idiot ideology on me, now we have a fucking problem. Now we have a fucking problem, and I'm going to buck and kick, and I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to expose it. Because I have the freedom to obtain, just like you have the freedom. You think you supreme, I think I'm supreme too. Now you keep that stupid ass motherfucking ideology to your goddamn self, okay? I don't infringe or set up any fucking system to infringe on other people's rights to make them think they must bow to me. No, you never bow to another fucking image. Okay, and if you're a Christian, you should know and understand that. You never bow your image to another fucking image. Are you out your fucking mind? So it's the stupid ideology part that says that they are so better than everybody else that they go around and quote unquote colonize motherfucking shit. And then don't want to take accountability for their actions. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. That's what it is, plain and simple. And then, you know, they'll gaslight you. Oh, these other white countries are getting along and they're all white. They don't have institutionalized white supremacy. So you can tell me whatever dumb shit you want to tell me. Okay, I'll show you African continents, the continent Africa, and show you countries in that continent that are peacefully getting along without, okay, and they're prospering, okay, and those are all what you would call black people in the continent of Africa. The ones that they classify as, because I understand like the Middle East and whatever, but the ones that they say are black occupied, okay? There are countries that get along just fine, whose economies are booming, okay, who are rich in natural resources. It's only white supremacy that want people to think that that's not so. Only white, all white European countries, they're fine because they don't have black and brown people in it. Like, shut the fuck up. What the fuck are you even talking about? When I heard that dumb shit on YouTube, I was like, some stuff I can't even look at because I swear to God, like, I can't fucking do it. I just can't do it. Okay, I can't even listen to the stupid fucking shit that come out their mouth sometimes. Right? When countries have been getting along just fine before them. Okay? Everybody has been getting along. Okay? And the other thing I wanted to tell you about white supremacy, white racists, is that, because I don't like saying supremacy, because white supremacy is actually an ideology. Okay, like I said, if they're trying to have pride in who they are, that's fine. But that term is actually an ideology and an institution to belittle people who don't look like them, right? So with white races, what you have to understand, and you have to, a lot of people have already peaked this game, is that they will use other black people against you, okay? So don't think you have an ally with another black person. And I get sick and tired of hearing black people talk about, oh, you know, the people in the West Indies came from slavery. Every black person come from slavery. Like, I don't have time for that goddamn stupidity. Okay? Every black person in America is not a descendant of slaves. And if you do not understand that, you are going to make a grave mistake thinking you have an ally when you really have an oppressor. Okay? They do not think like you. They do not move like you. Okay? So you have to understand this. A lot of them are not, a lot of people that went to the West Indies and stuff like that are not descendants of fucking slaves. Okay? It's like, do you not know before slavery even began, the people from the continent of Africa, no matter what country you point out, was traveling around the world and settling there way before fucking slavery? So why do you think every black person is from fucking slavery? They are not. And if you make the grave mistake of thinking this, you will think you have an ally, but you do not. Okay? You do not. Okay? And this is, like I said, I talk from experience. Do not make that grave mistake. Okay? Because they're going to show you that they can do it better than the white man. Okay? So, like I said, it's a different mindset. A lot of descendants of slaves are looked upon as being lazy, okay? So that's just what it is. You're looked upon as being lazy. You looked upon, you know, if you're a black African American person, you're looked upon as being lazy. You're looked upon as not taking advantage of the resources that are available to you in America, especially if you're in America, okay? And that's just what it is, okay? And then people who are not descendants of slaves, okay, who happen to have black skin tones, okay, will come here and advance and excel beyond what some people in the motherfucking ghetto can fucking imagine or even think they can obtain. So do not make that grave mistake, okay? And that's all I have for you. If this YouTube video has helped you, please give it a like. It will help the algorithm on YouTube. Also subscribe. And I do not have a problem with you sharing my video as long as you give me credit. Thank you. Bye.